Hello everyone, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to explain about the photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is one of the very important reaction on the earth, which is reaction between the water and the carbon dioxide in the presence of chlorophyll present in the green plants and the sunlight. And whatever this reaction is there, which will provides the food, fodder, shelter and energy to the all the living things. And that's why whatever the food we are going to eat, whatever the wood and biomass we are going to use, whatever the fodder we are going to give to the animals, and whatever the oxygen we breathe, and all things, everything we are going to get from the green plants. That's why it is a very important reaction, and from that the carbohydrate in the form of sugar we are going to get, and that will be having the different forms. Okay, that will be later thing. And here I am going to discuss about the photosynthesis reaction and how it will be taking place, what are the conditions required, and example for the energy concerned, okay, the photosynthesis reaction and the steps of the photosynthesis reaction. The first thing is that the most important chemical reaction on the earth is the reaction of sunlight meet green plants. Why important? I told you already. The radiant energy of sun is absorbed by the green pigment chlorophyll in the plant and is stored within the plant in the form of chemical bond energy. Photosynthesis in the plant is an example of biological conversion of solar energy into sugars and starches, which are energy rich compounds. So, if the plant fast growing trees having the high photosynthesis efficiency, we can harvest and burn them to produce the electric power. Energy concern, we can use this one. And that is such an energy plantation. For the purpose of the energy, if you plant the trees, fast growing trees, which are having the high photosynthesis efficiency, they can store the energy in the form of carbohydrates in the green plants that we can burn to get the heat energy and later electricity from it, and would be a renewable source of energy and economical means of the harnessing solar energy. This is indirect harnessing of the solar energy. But here what it restricts by using this photosynthesis as an indirect conversion of the solar energy is that, however, photosynthesis concept are less attractive as the average efficiency of solar energy conversion plants is about 1%, and the overall efficiency of the conversion of sunlight to electricity would be about 0.3% compared to 10% for the photovoltaic cells. Its efficiency is less, of course, we agree, but the thing is that whatever the valuable products it will give, those are very rich and those are not comparable with any other things. That's why the photosynthesis is an important reaction. And this process of photosynthesis is extremely complex and not yet completely understood by scientists. Whatever the scientists till they understood that one, that is given in the form of reactions, and those we are going to discuss here. But it is a very complex thing, but it is not clearly understood. Here in the Greek, photo means light and synthesis means combination. That is the photosynthesis. In this reaction, water and CO2, that is water and CO2 molecules are broken down. These will be broken down and a carbohydrate is formed. The carbohydrate like glucose are formed, and with the release of pure oxygen, the pure oxygen will be released, and that is in presence of the sunlight. And this process of can be expressed in the different equations that I am going to discuss further. This reaction is that reaction between the CO2 plus of water, light in the presence of light and chlorophyll forms a carbohydrate, releasing the oxygen, and the chlorophyll will be in that form only. Here 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 12 molecules of hydrogen combine to form a C6 H12O6, which is a glucose, and plus releasing of the water and oxygen will be taking place. And the absorbed light in the ultraviolet and infrared range. So whatever the light it is absorbing, that is ultraviolet and infrared range. And visible light having a wavelength below the 700 angstrom is absorbed by the green chlorophyll, which becomes activated and passes its energy on the water molecules. Here this chlorophyll, what is there in the green plants, that will becomes by receiving the light, it will becomes activated and it will passes the energy to the water molecules, because here water molecules requires the energy to split into hydrogen and the oxygen, and that energy they are going to get from the chlorophyll. The hydrogen atom is then released and reacts with the carbon dioxide and forms a H2CO and oxygen. And H2CO is the basic molecule forming a carbohydrate, and that H2CO is stable at low temperature and it breaks at high temperature and releasing an amount of heat equal to 1,12,000 calorie per mole. Here that means this is the next part of that photosynthesis process. What the carbohydrate stored in the green plants, that is in the form biomass, if you use for the energy by combustion of that biomass, it will release the 112,000 calorie per mole of the heat energy, and that is the biomass energy what we can get. And that releasing of that whatever this energy is there, that will have the reaction like this. H2CO, the carbohydrate, combines with the oxygen, that is the combustion, and releases the carbon dioxide and water, that is the complete combustion, and releasing about the 112,000 calorie per mole of energy. The absorbed energy of photon should be at least equal to this amount. Okay, that whatever the amount of energy absorbed by these green plants should be at least this amount. Then only we are going to get that much of the energy during combustion. If it is therefore possible to produce a large amount of carbohydrate by growing, say, algae under the optimum conditions in plastic tubes or in ponds, the growing of the algae is one of the indirect conversion of that solar energy into the formation of the carbohydrates. Similarly, in the green plants also the same thing happens. The algae is also one of the aquatic green plant which will receive the sunlight and photosynthesis will be taking place in that plants. And this algae could be harvested, dried and burned for production of heat, and that could be converted into electricity by conventional methods. This is an example. The algae can be used for the production of the power, and the green plants what are there, those also can use for the production of the power. The algae is taken in this as an example, and we can take the green plants also as an example for the energy production. Continuation with this one. What is meant by photosynthesis? Now we will take. The photosynthesis consists in building up of a simple carbohydrates such as starch, sugar, etc. in the green leaf in the presence of sunlight. The green leaf itself indicates that is chlorophyll. The oxygen liberated is from H2O, not from CO2. The oxygen is releasing from this one, H2 goes to carbon dioxide, forming a HCO2. This process is called as a carbon fixation or a carbon assimilation. The carbon dioxide is fixed here, that is absorbed, combined with H, that is called as a carbon fixation or a carbon assimilation. Photosynthesis is essentially a reduction and oxidation process. The two reactions will be taking place, reduction as well as the oxidation processes. Like here, the process of photosynthesis has two main steps. There are two main phases of the reactions. Those are, first one, splitting of H2O molecule into H2 and O2 under the influence of chlorophyll and the sunlight. The chlorophyll receives the sunlight and get activated, and that transfer the energy to the water, and that will split the water into the H2 and O2. And this phase of reaction is called light reaction, In this phase of reaction, light is absorbed by the chlorophyll, causes the photolysis of water. Thus, solar energy is converted into potential chemical energy. Now, it is a potential chemical energy after splitting this one. In the second phase, hydrogen, whatever is formed in this first phase of the reaction from this unknown compound, from this unknown compound to the CO2, that will be transferred from that unknown compound to the CO2, form a starch or sugar. And formation of the starch or sugar is a dark reaction. That is not require any light. Means that hydrogen combining with a carbon dioxide, it will not require any light. Okay, that is those both hydrogen is easily reactive with oxygen, carbon dioxide, and that will react with that one and forms a starch or a sugar, and that is called as a dark reaction that does not require sunlight. And this is in these two phases the photosynthesis reaction is taking place, which will form a carbohydrate, and that is whatever the carbohydrate form is there, that is important stored energy. Thanks for watching. If you like, share, subscribe and comment.